Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video. My marriage has been a little rocky over the years. Irrespective of various factors, we have been standing strong and have never felt out of love till date. This should be the summary of every marriage which has seen tension over the years, but well, who can we judge? There seems to be another factor that influences this statement. Obviously, the mother in law. Now, the mothers in laws are a type of creature that just cannot see that you are happy. Now, let me tell you about the most horrific encounter I had with my mother in law that completely made me lose my respect for her, and I am glad that this happened with her. Last week, we had to attend a family get together. On normal circumstances, I would be very happy to attend, as it had been years since I met my nieces and sisters, but my face changed color when I heard that my husband's other was going to be there. I suppose just another day of humiliation and festivities. I put on my masquerade, or what some people may call makeup, on and started on the long journey to desperation. The road was tiring as some events happened along the way. We departed during the afternoon, and it would take us around 4 to 5 hours to reach our destination. On our way, we found this stranded couple in the middle of the road asking for a lift as their car broke down. My husband, being the perfect husband he is, and willing to help anyone, and me, being the joyless and impatient person I was, to attend the ceremony, we gave the couple a lift as to their destination fell on the way of our journey. While on the road, all of us got talking, and sweet paraphernalia were exchanged. They had made some food and shared that with us. We were hungry, to be sure, so that was a huge relief for us. We exchanged numbers, got to know about their family, and the time was fun. When we reached upon our destination, we found the road to be barricaded and some policemen around. On asking them when the barricade was going to open up, they said that it was going to be in the next morning, as a cheetah had escaped from the next town, and so people were not allowed to go as long as the cheetah was captured. Not asking relevant questions like, how do you know if the cheetah would be captured by tomorrow morning? We accepted the proposal of the couple to spend the night at their place. The night went smoothly, with all of us going to sleep pretty late with the amount of gossip we were indulging in. When we woke up, we saw the sun to be at the peak and almost knew instantly that we were going to hear a handful upon reaching. We said our goodbyes and also quite fortunately found the barricades to be up. We reached our destination finally, and upon opening the car door, I heard a stream of insults directed to my husband, and with a pinch of hurt directed towards mine as well. It was obviously mother-in-law, and she used all types of words that I did not think even existed. Also, one thing to mention, it was her birthday. We forgot that, didn't we? However, we being the good kids that we were, told her about our debacle and the problem we fell in and how we spent the night with familiar faces. She became angrier. According to her, we were spending nights at other people's houses when we should have been with her, enjoying her getting closer to death. More importantly, I was the second person in this conversation, as most of the insults were directed towards my husband, and I was standing there like a scarecrow, getting picked on by the birds. Immediately she said something which made me remember how much I did not want to visit her. She said what a bad son he was, and she could clearly see on whose instructions he was getting the courage to treat his mother like that. Strike one. She said that in front of all the family members and also in front of his brothers and nephews. You can understand our humiliation, but still, being the perfect man he was, he apologized fervently till his mother cooled down. I just wanted to get on with the day and was counting the hours when we would reach our home again. We got on with the day, and when it was time for dinner, I saw my husband acting a little strange. I did not give much thought to it. Actually, when I think about it now, he had been acting strange after having lunch itself. The weather was hot, which could be the reason he was perspiring so much, and he looked out of breath. It could be because he was running hither and thither, doing all the work, so I did not give it much thought. We sat at the dinner table, and I was busy talking to one of my nieces. After all, we have met after so long. The next moment, I heard something or the other addressed to my husband, and who better to say it other than mother-in-law herself? I believe she said something along the lines that his wife does not even talk to him. Strike two. First of all, he was busy talking to our uncle, and so I was also talking with my niece. There is absolutely no room for being jealous, but still, I don't know how this happened. Soon after the comment, my husband's face dropped and dinner table became quiet. I did not say anything to her out of respect I had for him. Soon after we were having our desserts in silence, I heard a noise. It was the sound of my husband vomiting horribly on the ground. He was rushed to the hospital, and soon we found out that he had food poisoning. For the first time in my life, I saw my family to be so closely bonded apart from the wretched woman. My sister-in-law was talking with the doctor, and my nieces and uncle went to buy medicines. For a brief moment, it was just me and my mother-in-law in the waiting room. The doctor came out of the cabin and said that they are still running some tests on him and that he had to be in the hospital for a couple of days. Hearing this, I became angry but still tried to console myself, saying that he would not want his wife quarreling with his mother-in-law. But what came next really shocked me. She came up to me and said that all this was my fault. He should have never married me, and she had not raised her son to be ill on something as basic as food. The next line really blew me off. She said that how she wished that he had not been born. Spending money up for something so stupid. We were apparently spending money because a person was hurt, and that was stupid. Strike three. In the meantime, everyone returned, and I conditioned my throat to let all the harsh words come out. I hurled an earful on her, saying that she was the one who was the evil in the family and could not see any good that happened to his son. She always hated me for marrying into her family, as I came from a very poor background, and that was not something that she could wrap her mind around. The family had to intervene and asked what happened. When I told him about this, my uncle told her directly to leave the hospital and go home all day long. She had been treating his brother in a ridiculous manner. The whole family revolted, and she was thrown out of the hospital by the security guards. No one listened to her words, and she was gone. My niece took her to the home and stayed there along with her. This was a huge relief for me, and I thanked everyone for standing by me. While the guards taking her out, she had tears in her eyes and was continuously saying that she did not say anything like this and that I was a fraud, but to no avail. After all, everyone had eyes, ears, and common sense. Soon after some time, the doctor came and said that we could meet him in the cabin as he had open eyes, but only one visitor was allowed. I went in after everyone's approval and saw a dried-out face. I asked him how he was doing, and he said fine from all the insults that brought him to this bed. I was amazed to see that he wanted to see his mom after me. Am I the a-hole for treating my mother-in-law so badly when I knew my husband respects his mother so much? It has been some time since the food poisoning incident happened. I told him what had happened in the hospital after a few days, and he was discharged from the hospital and we went back home. At first, he was really angry with me, but then he came to terms that I had been treated badly on his pretext and apologized to me on behalf of his mother's actions. I do love my husband and his family, and I'm so lucky to have them in my life, but still, I have some sleepless nights when I stay awake thinking whether or not the words which came out of my mouth were relevant for a mother seeing her child getting sick. Go on, sister. I am so proud that you had the courage to stand up to your mother-in-law and defend your husband for doing nothing wrong. Hope that she is also having some of the sleepless nights. Don't think about it, sister. I'm sure your husband understood you, and props to my guy, who actually understood that his mom was toxic as hell and you were the most valuable thing he had. I am very sorry for the fact that you had to go through such a thing, but you also have to understand that you are the woman who robbed the mother of her child, and it is okay if she's angry at you. Yes, obviously I do believe that her words were sharp and needless, but so were your words too. You too showed no mercy to your elder, who has seen the world, quite frankly, more than you, and was educating you what a mother goes through. I'm a 35-year-old female, and my 5-year-old daughter Sarah is very scared of the dark. My husband, 36, and I do everything we can to try to help her feel better. Lately, she's been doing better, and she hasn't been as afraid after we've eased her into it and let her know that it isn't all bad. A few days ago, my 10-year-old son, Jack, decided it would be funny to prank his sister. While I was in the bathroom for 5 minutes, my son locked his little sister in his closet. I came in as soon as I heard the yelling. I asked him why he thought it would be okay to do that. He told me that he thought it would be funny to scare her. When my daughter came out, she was crying. Not knowing how to discipline my son, I waited for my husband to come home so that we could decide what to do. When I told my husband and what happened, He thought the prank was funny. I told him that this was serious and Sarah was really hurt by what her brother had done to her. He told me to stop being so uptight and let kids be kids. He told me I was being overbearing and controlling over our son. When I tried to talk to him more, he told me that he had bigger problems and that I should just let it go because I'm going to ruin Jack's childhood. AITA? Hello, everyone. I know many won't see this update, but I will add this anyway. My husband and I had a long talk and we decided to spend time apart. He decided to stay at his brother's house. I found a therapist for Sarah to help her out with her fear. As for Jack, I punished him by taking away his console and other devices, and he has many more responsibilities around the house. He apologized to me for what he did, but I made him apologize to his sister. He apologized to her and he started crying. He said he didn't know it would make her sad. His punishments are still in place, but I'm still glad he apologized. I never expected this post to get popular. However, I'm here to address a few things. I'm getting told therapy is a bit extreme. However, you don't need something extremely traumatic to happen to you in order to receive therapy. It's overall healthy for everyone to express how they're doing. Another thing, me and my husband are not getting divorced. He came home and had apologized to me and my daughter. He agrees on the punishment I put in place. Thank you, everyone, for the kind comments, though. NTA, what's wrong with your husband that he considers terrorizing a younger sibling with their worst fear and possibly adding claustrophobia as a problem to be part of a normal, acceptable childhood? It's not. NTA, your husband is, though. Playing with phobias is not a funny prank. It's bullying. The criteria of a good prank is when the pranked can laugh as well, when the initial shock wears off. You need to sit your husband down and explain all this to him. For a first offense, the punishment doesn't have to be too harsh. But your son needs to learn the difference between cruelty and good-natured fun. My husband and his friend have been friends since college. My husband's friend's wife and I are also close friends. I knew his wife since before their relationship, and I knew him for a long time too. She is one of the nicest humans I've ever met, and he wasn't a bad person, but secretly I felt like she was too good for him, but I'd never say it. Then she got diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had to get a double mastectomy and go through chemo. Her hair fell out and she lost a lot of weight, and she became depressed, which was really hard to watch. This happened during the pandemic too, so healthcare services, especially counseling, were hard to come by, and often her appointments were delayed or cancelled. I had to drive her to her appointments a lot because her husband would claim to be busy. He would come to our house often and rant to my husband that she wasn't having sex with him anymore and she wasn't attractive anymore, so he didn't want to have sex with her. They talked in his man cave so that they thought I couldn't hear, but often I listened in and I would feel sick to my stomach at him telling my husband how he thought his wife was disgusting because she threw up all the time and she looked like a little boy with her hair gone. Around 8 months after her diagnosis, he cheated on her. Could have been earlier, it's when I found out. And she asked for divorce. I had to hold and comfort her while remembering all the horrible things that he said about her. They are going through a divorce now, and I can't even look at him anymore. My husband still hangs out with him and invites him over, and we have had multiple fights over it. I told him I listened in on what they said, and he yelled at me that it was private, and I was upset that he could listen to what his friend said and still want to talk to him. He said while he disagrees with his friend, he won't judge his friend's actions, and I feel disgusted at him for continuing that friendship. This weekend, he had a barbecue party and wanted to invite his friends, saying divorce is stressful, and I lost my temper, and we had a big fight over what he considers his friend's private matter. I just feel like he is capable of being friends with his friend after what he did. He probably doesn't think what he did was that bad. Honestly, the more and more I think about it, the more pissed off I am, and he thinks I'm overreacting. NTA, your husband was okay with his pal insulting and slagging on his wife without a single defense of said wife because the poor woman has cancer. At a minimum, he emphasized and sympathized with this man in your home while not pointing out, dude, you are a massive a-hole. She has cancer. And then he is condoning and supporting his buddy's cheating on his sick wife. What if it happened to you? Would he hang with his buddy and make the same comments? I think he would, because he is perfectly okay with everything Buddy says about his sick wife and thinks it is swell. NTA, they spoke in your house while you were not eavesdropping. Your house is not airtight and soundproof. Your husband being friends and not stopping those kinds of statements is not okay. He is all right with his friend having such low morals that he will openly discuss his distaste for his sick wife and then cheat on her? I would have issues with my partner being friends with someone like that. You share the house, and your dislike with that type of person in your house, if you have kids, that adds to it, makes you uncomfortable and has made your home more like a lodging location while he is there. You have no respect or trust for him, and you feel like he is an ethical and moral dark hole. NTA, you are the company you keep. There are actual studies that say, too, many men leave their partners when they get sick. I'd really think long and hard about this. What if you get sick yourself? What will your husband do? I think I already know the answer. Hopefully,